Hi everybody, really nice to have you. I'm with Loic.
Nice to meet you, everybody.
I'm with Lex, CEO and creative directors of Borealis, and of course working on this game Echoes of Mystralia. And Loic is creative
production director.
Yeah,
creative production director of
exactly.
Echoes of Mystralia.
So this game needs both of us to make sure that it is as good as it could be. This is Echoes of Mystralia. So what we're gonna do today is that we're gonna play a little bit, we're gonna talk about what we've done, but also we're gonna answer your questions. So if you have any question, please just add them in the chat. And we, MED or a community manager, just collect a lot of questions since the beginning of this playtest. So we have them also for answer, to answer a little bit later. So, Echoes of Mystralia, we have our main character, Maz, right here. So, it's part of people called Watchers. So, they need to keep the equilibrium of the world just tight. They don't intervene usually, but of course, like in any game, we have this big plot. In which there's a rift that just mysteriously appear that kind of threat the equilibrium of Mystralia. So we're 100 years after the Mystralia universe. I think we're going to have a lot of opportunity to talk about narration a little bit later. So right here, we start with a boomerang and a laser beam. So we can break the environment. The game is a roguelike action RPG. So this is an arena, but like you can see, we take really good care to create the believable living environment like this big vista right here. So players will learn what those icons are about, but this one is to get a new memories, which are the spell element that we get, collect, and use the game to create your very own spells. So all the game is voice acted right now. So I'm gonna kill those food here. I'm kind of used to play this game with all the players.
We've played a while.
A while, exactly.
Yeah. But we're happy to notice that even though it's a short experience that we provided for the playtest, that we had a lot of players putting lots of hours in it and playing it a lot. Some playtester on our Discord put in above like 25 hours in the playtest already.
Yeah,
testing spell
that's amazing. You guys, the reception was so great and heartwarming for the whole thing. We're gonna talk maybe about the build. So we got a first memories. Right now we call it evocation, but it's gonna change. So you're gonna know some stuff. So first thing we've got fire trail. So I've put it on my boomerang. I could have put it on my laser beam here. So what does it do? Of course, a fire trail. But just to show you, if I take the fire trail right here and I put it instead on my laser beam, right now it's doing something else. So players will need to create their own tactical approach with their spell that they craft to defeat the foes. Right here. Here we have a lake. You can see little detail like object that we break floating in the water and stuff like that. So we want to add a lot of breakable stuff and juice into the game. So let's go to the next combat. So those fools are, we call them the unbroken.
Broken branches.
Broken branches.
It's our small, it's our little dev appellation right now. Probably will change later in the game, but right now we aptly call them the broken branch internally.
So those are kind of people from the forest, and they kind of awakened by the corruption and the broken equilibrium. So fireball thrower, I'm gonna have that and put it on my boomerang. So right now, as you can see, my boomerang is throwing other fireballs. So we're kind of lucky for this first run. Here you can see that we put it for a playtest, but the ambience changed. So this is a night ambience. Doesn't make sense right now, but we're gonna have all this weather system and day and night cycle into the game, so it's gonna change stuff. And we plan on like making some secrets appear only during depending on the time of the day you are or the weather and stuff like that. So optional stuff, sure, but we're really taking a lot of care about adding deepness to the lore and the world.
And speaking of the lore of the world, people that have played the playtest might have noticed Mazaremo narrator talking about the creatures we're fighting. So the premise of the world right now is that, like we said, there's a giant rift that appears in the world, and Mystralia is caught reliving all his past traumas and all their memories. So what we're fighting in the game, we call them internally the shadows of the past. So basically all the creatures we're seeing and fighting are...
And of course, stay with us, because by the end of this AMA live broadcast, we're gonna have our author Gabriel that's gonna join with us just to still talk a little bit about the lore and the rest of the stuff.
So the idea that we were...
I'm gonna choose a Pierce while you're just saying what I'm doing.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm gonna put it on the laser beam, so it's gonna pierce through all the enemies. I think we're clearly looking right now. So please continue.
So continue maybe just on the premise of the lore. So the idea is that as the watcher of the cycle, like you say, you are fighting to protect Mystralia and helping restore the memory of the world by fighting all the shadow of its past that it's reliving. So for us, it's a narrative premise that allows us to explore like deep thematic themes in terms of narration, but also explore the history of the world. So for people that have played the first game, there's going to be links to the first game, and there's a reason why we're bringing this game far later in the future of the world of Mystralia, and it is a way for us to explore the whole deepness of the lore we can build.
Showing the Mystralia universe that we had in mind. You can see all the game is voice acted right now, so we were talking over it. Sorry, everybody, but
relax, kid. Don't try to impress her.
And we think that it adds a lot to the experience and making the world believable.
Oh, for sure. And right now, what you're seeing, like with
the adventure map,
is the adventure map.
So, of course, this is the playtest build. So this is the build that we did for just revealing the game back in August 2024, last year. And so a lot of stuff are gonna change. But our idea with this adventure map is that if, like other roguelite, players are used to go from level to another, sometimes you have little maps, stuff like that, but this is more to tell the player how well is progressing until the top. So, what is your main goal to the game? Because we have this RPG genre added to the action roguelite, players will be able to choose by which path they're going up to the top, and of course it's gonna be bigger than that. So you're gonna be able to receive quests. So, for example, there's gonna be a quest in the Cradle of the Union, but there's help I can see in Fields of Division. So those are gonna have meaningful choices. And the other thing, you see a little boat right here and stuff. So this map's gonna change. So it will happen, but just to give you an example, like a new island can just raise from above the water, so you have a new region, for example, or a new location, or something terrible happened on the world, so the landscape changed. So we think that it's gonna add a lot of deepness and a lot of meaningful choices for the player. But of course, the main goal still is to reach the top and defeat the game. So you can do both. So I'm going to continue to play, enter into the Field Division. So this is pretty quick because for this playtest we wanted to show more than just one biome. But of course, you're going to stay a little bit longer in one biome. We still want to keep the run it shouldn't take more than 45 minutes, but a good player can do it faster. This is what we're aiming for.
We're looking at a somewhat 45-minute long kind of like run. Right now, the playtest length was about more like 15 minutes in terms of length for a run, which is a shorter time span that we wanted the player to experience just so that we can quickly get the core of the game. But of course, down the line, we are aiming for a longer time run so that you have way more possibilities to modify your spell and build them and all that. So in terms of like the pacing of the playtest right now, what we're seeing is a more of a condensed experience and not a full-fledged vision. We are in pre-alpha right now at this stage. We still have a long way to go in production, and our goal by showcasing this build with you guys and receiving all the feedback was to get feedback as early as possible from our player base and the audience.
That's crazy, my spell.
Hey, it's pretty
I'm
cool.
throwing, Thunderbolt and Fireball. Maybe I should put my Fire Trail on my Boomerang too.
Yeah, that's right.
I think it's going to be a lot stronger. I kind of like that my laser beam is freezing, by the way, because now I have a better reason to use both of my weapon, so I can freeze the enemies, and it pierces too, so I can freeze the rune after that using my boomerang with the fire trail.
I personally like adding pierce on the beam too. It makes it way more potent.
Yeah. Because the boomerang already kind of pierce anyway, so...
Oh, we're having our first narrative event.
Yeah, narrative event shown like 2D, but I think we're gonna change that.
Yeah, we have planned right now in the production to change it to more 3D based event right now. So for the playtest, we kept that idea of 2D, but looking at it, we're looking into ways of making sure that the game feels as immersive as possible as you go in the adventure, while having lots of narrative possibilities and more dialogue possibilities with the character and people that you encounter in the world.
Makes sense. So we have Thunder Thrower, it applies static right now, and with the critical and static, it's gonna be, we're really lucky. This is not arranged, by the way. It's a real game. So to the right, I will have more resources to buy stuff, permanent progression, the final game, but since we have this AMA for 1 hour, we're gonna go for the spell system. Oh, the big guy is here. I'm gonna freeze him. Can I freeze the guy? Oh, they have a lot of armor, but my boomerang is pretty good. Like those. I'm kind of strong.
Yeah, you have a pretty good build right now. Maybe do you want to share more on the creative thoughts behind the spell system and the way we approach it? I know they have a lot of
already almost 15 hours, in the AMA, so sure.
Yeah.
I think I first need to talk about Mages of Mystralia before answering this question. So, our former game, Mages of Mystralia, for those who played, people loved it. We had a really great reception. And our unique selling point, USP, like we call it in the field, was the spell system. Mages of Mystralia was an action adventure, pretty like to tell name Zelda, Zelda games. So in this kind of game, you kind of pretty much receive the same kind of rewards in the same order because there's narrative gate and environment gate, so you need to defeat this boss or find this to access the new level, stuff like that. So what it has bring to the spell system was that first, I think it's okay, but if you make it through the game, you will always get the same runes to craft spell in the same order in the game. I'm just gonna choose this spell and it casts Void Explosion that deals 70% damage. Gotta put it on my laser beam. So, and the other thing is that you keep your, we call them rune in Mages of Mystralia, you keep them for the whole game. So by half of the game, when you have pretty much half of the room that you can receive in the game. Players did their crazy spell and they were good with them. So we saw in our analytic data that players wasn't experimenting as much with the spell system that at the beginning. Of course, there were good side on that. Oh, first boss, there I can. The good aspect of that is that it was allowing us to create puzzles. So a lot of people talk to us about puzzles, so we're going to come back on this question a little bit later. So really clever puzzle that you need to have a good spell trap and so you can solve it and add reward and just work in an action adventure game. So that was one of the good aspects. But if we wanted the player to experiment more with the spell system, it wasn't ideal. And the other thing is that we could not continuously add new rooms to the game because it would break it. So people don't believe us sometimes when we talk about that, but the reason why Echoes of Mystralia is in a roguelike genre, it's more about to get deeper into the spell system, because in this kind of game loops, you never receive the same rooms when you start a run in the same order. And for us, if we want to add more rooms and more, it just works in a roguelike.
And also going in a roguelike fashion right now makes the spell system, the spell crafting, the focus right now on the experience. And what you're playing in the playtest right now is a very small subset of the spells we want to put in the game.
Sure.
So right now we focus on that build on making sure the game felt good in the hands of the player. That was something that we wanted to improve upon Mages of Mystralia, was the feeling in the handle while fighting, and also having a small subset enough of spells that you could craft, but it is we plan on adding way more that changes the behavior, like modifying open possibility on spellcrafting and adding it a roguelike. It makes it that every time you start, you kind of ask the question again, oh, what type of spell should I build for this one? Instead of just building your favorite
room that you receive. So you kind of need to tinker around, because you never know which room you're going to receive, and depending on which you already receive, where you put it, and everything. But about the playtest and that, we still have a lot of things to show about this game. It was kind of hard for the team to put live the playtest, which was our convention demo, because we work so much more internally, or development build, we have so much more stuff already, but we're just gonna keep you the surprises. And right now we're just really happy that people like what they play and understand what the game is about. And to pursue with the spell system, we could not keep it like it was in Mages of Mystralia, where you have connector and need to place it all around. Because since that's a roguelite, we wanted to have a really fast pace with the spell system. So right now the spell system look simple, but tell you the truth, it was really hard. It was our 8th iteration, I think, on that one. So it took us more than 2 years to come up with that. And the idea was that everything works with everything. No connector, no condition, and you can just toy with it, and that's all. So, okay, fine.
That's something that is very different from Mages of Mystralia in the system. So in Mages of Mystralia, not every rooms you would take would work with every spell in your canvas. There would be some
because
element
if you cannot connect them, it won't work. And under the hood, we created the connection to make sure that room that won't make sense to connect together, it's impossible. So if you have a connector in that direction, it wasn't hexagrid. And another room have a Neo connector to the right. It's just impossible to connect them both
So
together.
on this system, we worked a lot on making sure that the spells you receive are agnostic from the initial spell you have, so that everything works with everything and has an impact and an effect, which opens a lot of possibilities for crafting. And also makes us that whenever we add additional memories and additional spells, the possibilities are just becoming exponential on the basis, which wasn't the case in the original system. So even though it...
And we were mana limited too. So right now we removed this restriction, so more straightforward, so just play around with the spell system, play around. But with the new stuff that is coming, of course, it's going to be even deeper.
It might look simpler, but it actually, in the back end, allows us to build way more crazier stuff.
We're just going to talk about what players are looking, and we can continue the discussion. So right now we are in a camp. We're thinking about removing 2D event like that to make everything in 3D, but still you're going to have those kind of permanent location that you can visit. So if I go to the infirmary, I'm talking with Elias. Elias has already a new design in the build that we're working on right now. So you're gonna create a connection with Elias. He's gonna recognize you when you're gonna come after and after and after. And of course, everything voice acted. So eating, yes, I need it.
Yes.
Yes. I'm not as good as I told you in the beginning. Maybe because I'm talking, but whatever. It's just normal. The hero like to die and try again. Need something else? No, Elias. Thank you. Maybe a couple of trinkets with the money I have left. Buy trinket. I can buy at least one trinket right here. Now, fortunate.
So we haven't talked about trinket yet in the build. So maybe that's a good opportunity to talk about it.
Sure thing. So, design-wise, the idea with the trinket is to steer even more the build that you're gonna do. So, this one is pretty simple. We call it like it's in the general category because it's just a boost. When you lose 10 health, you receive 1. So that's a good one. But the trinket that we're coming up to, we're gonna change the way you want to build your spell. For example, a trinket that add a power or boost fire spell. Maybe you're gonna want to steer your spell a little bit through fire. So we want them to be powerful, but also kind of push you to change the way you're gonna play, so that it adds a lot more of variance and diversity and freshness to each run. So that's kind of the idea we have behind the trinket. Need anything else, Nizet?
I don't think you have the fragments to buy anything more.
No, I don't think. Henry, welcome to the camp. Nope. Not rich enough. Maybe I should have chosen.
Maybe you should have chosen more resources.
Yeah. But I think too late for the resources. Let's go with another echoes. Okay. Oh, so now throwing 3 boomerang at the same time. Pretty strong. Good. Some laser. Meanwhile, I'm waiting for a boomerang to come back. Character. Don't even have the time to freeze them. Okay, 335. So another biome, of course, that you just saw a little bit right here, and where we're going to is to another boss, meta.
Yeah. Maybe while you're fighting, we had a question from Crimson Style on our Discord channel asking if we were thinking of adding a fire spell or other elemental spell, and we can answer already that in the internal build we're doing, we have a first version of a fire spell coming. So
people haven't saw it, but because we're with the tutorial. But when you die, you're going back to our hub that we call the azimuth, and you can choose a primary weapon. So that's what it's talking about.
Yeah, we'll show it a bit later once LF
we
either
die
beats them
or win.
meta or not.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Boy, it's set it right now. So you can see in the playtest, like my spell is already full. But what we have right now in the internal build is that you can put spell in your inventory right now, and you're gonna be able to level up the rune. So with 3 rune of the same element, you can boost it in a level 2 a lot more powerful. And
you're giving spoilers of what's coming.
yeah,
it's interesting.
Yes, because I'm pretty sure that people are asking themselves, okay, the spell system is already
what can
full,
we do with
so
it?
what can we do with
it?
that? And as you can see, we're gonna put our runes, memories in that game anywhere we want. So we have those kind of layouts, so we call it the canvas. So we're going to be able also to have other kind of canvas, increase them with more possibility, more branching, stuff like that. So there's a lot more to come. Right now, we didn't want to spoil the game too much. We just wanted to for you guys to play it, receive feedback, to make sure that we're still aiming in the good direction until the launch. So that was pretty much the idea.
And we couldn't be happier with the feedback we received right now from
those are amazing, really,
from all the people that played the playtest right now.
Thank you for all the wishes. To if you're just listening to us, watching us right now, and you haven't wish list yet, please push on the little button. It make a worth difference for us. You know the drill, Steam algorithm.
So we're reaching meta's borders. So
what was the question? Did we answer it? Sorry?
It was about the fire primordial.
Yeah. So yes, we're gonna have fire weapon. It's already into our internal build, and maybe we can say that it's gonna be more close range.
Yeah, we can hint about maybe a closer type of fire style with a fire build
to change. So yes, we're at the meta's border halfway through. So as you can see, it wasn't that long. It didn't took us 50 minutes to reach metas. But the question is, will I win against meta? Let's see. So they're a cool environment. We have a pretty great team. I think they're working.
And the team is working really hard at making all the world feel as alive as possible.
Yeah.
And we are super excited to show you in the future more of the stuff we're working on.
Yeah, like I said earlier, it was kind of hard for us to not showing you right now what we're working on, because for us, we've seen that. But we made the right choice, because like you say, the response of the players are pretty good. So meta right now, she's kind of infected by the corruption, so she's not all.
She's affected by the rift, and she's having all the memories of the forest in her right now, and having that affects her personality in odd ways.
Yeah, and of course, the more you're gonna meet her, the more you're gonna learn about meta, like all the characters in the Echoes of Mystralia. Yes, our author Gabriel has been working really hard to create a deep story.
Yeah, which we're not showing a lot in the playtest currently.
No,
we
that's a fact.
Voluntarily decided to put the playtest more on the gameplay because that's still the core of the game experience. But for the people that love the storytelling aspect, you can expect way more storytelling coming in the future.
Absolutely, yes, that's good that you mentioned it. And that's kind of hard if you want to have kind of a, I won't say short, but quick playtest. And to have the time to put the story and narration and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna die. Look.
I'm pretty sure you're gonna die on this one.
I thought I was pretty strong with this build, but no. Okay, so. No. I want make it. I won't make it. You can see like the roots swimming under the frozen lake, and I'm dead. Like you should in a roguelike. Maybe not the best player in the world, but I'm dead.
So right now we're back on the azimuth, which is our main hub.
I cannot help myself but saying right now that this is only bug looking.
Yeah. This is a smaller version of the hub that we're built for the play, expressly for the playtest. We didn't want players to get lost with a bit too big.
As straightforward
as possible, but the azimuth is going to be bigger in the full game with more features, of course.
Sure.
Right now, many people asked about the meta progression in the game, specifically, and I'm gonna make sure to pronounce it right. But the Darkling TW on our Steam community page asked us about if there would be some kind of meta progression in the game, and we can say that yes.
The answer is yes.
There will be meta progression. Right now in the current playtest, we wanted to focus on the main gameplay loop, but in future, meta progression will come. And he asked also if we would be showcasing some form of second demo in the future, and we are planning on doing a Steam demo in the future. That will include some form of meta progression in it, so you can have a full view of the experience.
Yeah, players will be able to experience a lot better what we envision for
the full gameplay loop.
Yeah, we're gonna have all the loop of the game and all the kind of feature upgrade path and stuff like that. Of course, not all the content of the game. To talk a little bit about the azimuth, which is the name of the hub. As you can see in the background, it's gonna change. Everything is blocking, but this is Mystralia right here. So we're kind of orbiting around Mystralia as a watcher. And like I told at the beginning, so this is what you're seeing. And now there's Obak that we met on Mystralia in our first run. So we're gonna talk to Master Obak. It's about meta, so I know that you're hearing.
They're hearing the much more better.
Yes,
we're better voice acting than us.
Just to so you understand what's happening. Of course, when Gabriel or author or writer is writing new text, we haven't had the actor right now in the studio, so we're making the voice. So as a team, when we review the game, everybody pick up a character. So that was this reflex that just happened right now. So he's talking about what has happened into the run. So he met Meda and she attacked him. So we want to add a lot of those so that there's kind of coherence into the game in each run. This is not just generic discussions that we're gonna have. So I'm gonna let you listen to voice acting. So right now, maybe we should have put a better warning, but this is where the skill tree is gonna be, but it's not in the playtest. We removed it because it was kind of frustrating with the first skill that you can receive, and you cannot go further into the demo, so we're keeping that for the next demo, sure, and maybe we're gonna show it just if you're following us on Facebook, Instagram,
or on Discord.
Wherever Discord, yes, you can join our private Discord server if you want to interact. This is where also that we ask for your help to playtest some kind of secret stuff sometimes. So if you want to play earlier version of the build and stuff, that's a place to go. Discord. So yes, we're gonna have a skill tree as permanent progression and other cool stuff. I don't know if we want to spoil them right now. What we see are the primary weapons. So this is the electric beam and the boomerang. But we have enough resources, 160, to unlock a new one.
Yes.
So we plan to have a couple more.
We have a couple. Right now we just put a tree for the playtest, but we have already a bit more in the right now.
Yeah.
And we're looking at ways to expand on the experience of the players on that angle.
Yeah, exactly. And the fire weapon that we're talking about is gonna be there. So
yeah, we're just gonna spoil that there will be a fire weapon.
Yeah,
the rest we're gonna keep a secret for now.
Yeah, sure.
And,
want to keep the surprise.
yes.
So I can decide with which weapon I'm gonna switch with the Ice Knight. So I kind of like my boomerang, so I'm gonna switch it with my lightning beam. So Ice Knight, a sniper. So this is an old and release kind of player's input. So real quick like this, but can make it longer like this. So can be kind of pretty strong. So you can send the dummy 11, 10 damage. If I keep it longer, 40, so stronger, and 30 max. So it can be stronger and quicker to just fight with the Ice Knight. But what I like with the boomerang is that while it's there, before it's coming back, you can do other stuff.
Yeah, so you can combine the boomerang and the Ice Knight. Casting the boomerang and then casting your Ice Knight.
So
at the same time.
Going back, I didn't explain, but with this portal, so as you see, it was pretty small. This version of the hub and the azimuth.
We had
back to.
We had
another question.
Yeah, Mist of Majora that was asking, will there be any quick tutorial? So right now, one of the experience we're doing in the playtest initially was to say, what if we put as little of a tutorial as we can. So of course, any game designer's dream is to be able to do a game that requires no tutorial. So for the
always better if it works.
Always better with no tutorial if it works. So right now in the game, we were very happy seeing how people were figuring out the way the system and the spell system work with very little information in the game. Of course, we're going to work a lot to make every information we give as clear as possible. But we feel as a developer that part of the fun is also figuring out and understanding how the game works. So we're planning on maybe doing some tutorial in some ways, maybe if we feel we have really absolutely needed to. But our aim is to make the game as organic in this discoverability as possible. And we were quite happy with the playtest that a lot of people actually picked it up quite fast. And within the first 10 minutes, we're understanding kind of the system and playing with it. So maybe we'll have tutorial later, but if we can avoid it, we'll try to make it as intuitive as possible.
Exactly. As a designer and creative director, there's kind of a delicate balance to have with tutorial because one players can discover stuff or understand stuff by themselves. This is kind of a wow moment. Okay, I kind of got it. That's how. And even more when you got some stuff and you're telling to yourself, okay, maybe if I put that and that, it should do that. You try it, and that's what it does. So those are really good moments that could be spoiled with too much tutorial.
Yes, and the fun of doing a roguelike instead of a classic adventure is also that the discoverability of the mechanics is also part of the fun and discovering the game. So we're planning on adding more of those kind of secret and kind of understanding and those kind of like wow moment of like, oh, if I do this, that has all those impacts that expand on the player experience. We have quite a few of these in the playtest currently, but we're planning to add way more of those type of like moment and moment of a organic design that arise with you suddenly when we're possibly and some possibilities of spells that even us the designer haven't thought about. We were super impressed by, even though we have a limited room memory subset in the game right now of players doing spells that we were not thinking possible. Mentioning the speedrun contest
so
that we
awesome
did.
when it happens, seeing a player that create a spell that we haven't seen yet.
We've seen times in the speedrun competition that we were not thinking was possible, and we've seen players defeating meta in like almost like 15 seconds, building like some crazy spell that we as designer I never had managed to beat meta that fast. And it's part of the joy for us as designer of creating a game that has open-ended possibilities in terms of the spell people can build. It is a really big challenge to design around and balance around, but it is a very fun challenge. It's a joy when we see player breaking the game.
Absolutely. And to finish with the tutorial, of course, we don't want players to not understand the game, so it could be kind of frustrating. So of course, we've collected a lot of analytic while you guys were playing Playtest.
And we thank everybody that said that they were willing to allow us to collect that, because
you
it helps
need
us
to
a lot.
give us your authorization. Of course, we're kind of transparent with those things. I'm gonna add, I think, fire trail on this. So, what was I saying?
We were just talking about tutorial, but we had some precise questions.
So we're gonna put tutorial if we see the analytic. This is what I was saying. Where if a lot of players stuck somewhere, of course, we're gonna have tutorial. So I think that cover up the question.
Yeah, we had also some precise question on specific abilities on the game, especially about like duration spell. I'm not sure if we have one right now in the spell, but if we pick one during the run, we should probably pick it. And also the overcharge ability. So for one of the question about the duration that Pendulum asked us on our Discord, Pendulum that played a lot of the playtest and was super helpful in all the videos he put up and all his feedback. He noted that the effect of duration right now was a bit weird, and he was right. There's some bugs and weird ways duration affect the spell currently that we're working on the back
end. We're so sorry.
To make it clearer on the impact. So
that's why we're doing playtest.
That's why we're doing playtest. But duration indeed at the current moment is behaving in some weird ways that we're working on them, making them clearer. So you were not crazy, Pendulum. There is weird ways on alteration effects right now in the build.
Realize that I should have took the pierce instead of the fire trail with the
what do you have right now?
Undamaged damage
so
plus one. That's good for the ice snipe because you charge it. So that's the most powerful right now. You can begin.
Maybe that's also a good opportunity to talk about triggers versus modifiers right now. What is called materialization in the current build right now. I noticed we talked about the spellcrafting, but we haven't talked specifically about those two.
I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna cheat. You don't have access to that, but I'm gonna choose right now ice fragmentation. Just put it there, and I'm gonna press O. So as you can see to the left, this is all the rooms we have in the game right now. It's gonna be easier for us to right now because we're gonna have a lot more than the double of that. To tell you the truth. So you can see just under fire trail, this is written modifier right now, and under fireball thrower, this is written materialization. So I think everybody get it, but modifier is going to modify already existing spells. So like you saw, if I put the fire trail on my boomerang, it adds a fire trail to the boomerang.
Yes.
But fireball thrower, it doesn't add something to an existing spell, it casts another spell. So this is the for now the little firefly, literally fly and fire that he throws. So that's the difference between them two.
Yeah, so basically diamond shaped spell right now are, we call them materialization or triggers in our jargon. They trigger new spell added, and every round spells can affect the materialization that is on top of it. So just by playing with the order in which you place things, you can change drastically the behavior.
Yeah, drastically. So if I add here Dragon Breath, that's a modifier. So it modifies my boomerang. So I'm showing through boomerang. We saw it earlier.
And we're planning on crafting way more modifier that changes behavior.
We're already a lot in the actual build right now, so it was kind of we've been transparent with you guys. It was our convention build for the reveal of the game at Gamescom in August. That went pretty well. So a modifier, but this one is a materialization. So that trigger on the other one. So this one is right when we cast the boomerang. It casts also Firefly. So there's the difference with that. If we go play another materialization after that, what it's gonna do right now is that the beam are gonna be triggered right now on our boomerang, but the Firefly are also added to the boomerang right now, Fireball thrower. But if I invert and I put first this materialization right now, the Firefly should be triggered by the new materialization, which is the orbital beam. So right now, you're seeing that create kind of a different spell. So right now, this is the orbital beam. And each spell has their kind of tick speed to trigger stuff. So since the orbital have a faster tick speed, that's why you're seeing more Firefly to the screen.
Yeah. And we had one question now that you're in all you can cast mode, just about the overcharge spell, about what it was doing. So Moose, really Canadian name, asked us
Hello Canadian.
really what the kind of the overcharge was doing. So maybe we can show it in combat.
Sure. Does it pose a game? Yeah. Okay. Where it is? If you can help me.
I think it's in the electric. Here.
Gain
overflow. Yeah.
Not overcharge.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Overflow.
Yeah. Gain overflow on it. So what is written? It's supposed to cast lightning strike while moving.
Yeah, so basically the way right now it works in the back end is that it will build up stacks on the enemy as you hit them, and once you reach your maximum stacks, you start casting lightning while you're moving. So it is
but for that to work, we need to apply static. Right now, the Ice Knight doesn't apply static, but the Thunder Thrower modifier applies static if do you have something else?
I think what I would suggest is to put the overflow on your lightning beam, because that way you're gonna hit way more enemies.
But I don't have the lightning beam right now.
Yeah, not the lightning beam. Sorry, the orbital beam. So that way it's a lot of the enemies, so it's gonna stack more.
Yes, but we need something that casts static first.
See, look at the overflow. I'm not sure you do.
No, it doesn't cast static.
Oh, so maybe what if you do is use a static and use it on the lightning beams just to see what it does.
You want me to put the overflow right now on the orbit right there? Is it that?
Yeah.
Gain overflow on it. Perfect. Okay, let's try that. So
let's try to see if we can trigger the overflow.
Right now, that's kind of crazy. The tree orbital, you can see the spell change.
Yeah, so you're seeing right now you're building overflow when you hit on the bottom.
Yeah.
And so if we hit enough enemies, it's gonna trigger the state.
I'm gonna add that, so maybe it's gonna help us. So we're gonna see it in the next arena.
So we still have, let's say, 10 minutes to go to the stream right now, and we have the Gab.
Do you have another question?
Right now, looking at it, the other question were more in the tone of the narration of the game, so which is a perfect timing coming in because we have Gab, or a writer and narrative director, coming in the stream right now.
Is about to join us in a few seconds, right?
Yes, so he's gonna join in a few seconds, and we can talk a bit more about the story.
Yeah, I just want to show players where the overflow is happening.
Yeah.
Right now, when boomerang, so right now I could just put a room right here in the sacrifice slot. And I got a trinket back. And another one too, so that was kind of powerful. Okay, so let's go kill. I'm gonna take resources. I don't think we're gonna be able to finish this run with Gabs coming talking. So let's look at the overflow. So you can see a 2 just above my health bar. So I cannot point you to the screen. right now. So it's just stacking up, stacking up, stacking up, stacking up, stacking up.
And then you.
And now I have overflow. So right now you can see the thunder that
Yeah.
are just. And now my overflow is done.
Yeah.
So did we have another question?
No, I think
before?
the other question was more on the narrative side. So I think I would welcome Gabriel to the chat. Gab, if you want to come in.
Yeah, of course. Maybe you're gonna want a chair, or you're gonna switch places. We're
Sure.
gonna just bring a great chair like this,
Sure.
Gab, and we're gonna just sort of. Are you still in the screen? Yeah, I think everybody's gonna be there. Wonderful. And I died. Meanwhile,
Yes, meanwhile you're back. So
let's welcome Gabriel. Hi, Gabriel. Nice to have you with us. Thank you.
So, like we said, Gabriel Renaud is our narrative director on the game and writer of the game. He's the one writing all the dialogues and
The story, everything. Yeah.
So maybe if you want to chat, just generally speaking, we have some question, of course, of Mages fan talking about like, oh, is this in the same universe? When does it take place? Why will Zia come back? Why is it a new character? So if you just want to talk a bit more about kind of like the story you're building right now and where we're going with it.
So Echoes take place 100 years after the events of Mages, after the end of Mages. We will play as Mazarim, as you see, who is a watcher of the memories of the world, of the cycle of the memories. And then a rift had swallow all the good memories of the world, leaving just the bad one, the traumatic one, the suffering behind. And we will have to gather the memories, and we will discover what happened in these 100 years between Mages and Echoes.
I read the story. That's pretty cool. I don't want to spoil anything.
We don't want to spoil anything in the story, but there will be characters from Echoes, from Mages that come back.
Yes, of course.
Of course, in the story, and there are.
Didn't forget Zia.
Yeah, and we didn't forget Zia. She will be included in the story.
Yeah.
At some point. At some point.
But you will see some new faction. You will see a different take on the celestial magic too.
Yep.
So we took a lot of the elements of Mages. But we want to offer some new angles, and we want to, explore the universe.
And also expand on the world, also like especially on the world map. We want to expand new territories that were not accessible in Mages. Also,
yeah, sure. Players will be able to see what happened with some
part of
the Mages.
Yes. So there's a good balance between what the player of Mages already knew, already saw, and some new stuff that the players that only play to Echo will discover. So
we had a fan of Mystralia that were worried that the story won't be as deep as Mages because that's a roguelite.
No.
But I think this is quite the opposite. It gives you a lot of opportunities. Roguelite game loop.
The game loop we will meet a lot of encounters. There's a lot of villagers. There's a lot of events, and you know the drill with the roguelike. The more you meet with the people, the more the story expands, the more the relations expand too. So we took this we use this as our advantage.
Yeah, and I realized that you can go pretty deep explaining the word or stuff like that, because usually in action adventure game, giving to the player all that information, those will be wall of text. But since you're doing a lot of run, you're able to spread them, those little lore bit a lot. So that's actually the opposite. You can go deeper into roguelike because you have a lot of opportunities.
And you don't meet the same people at every run. So if you meet someone, say for the first run, and then you meet them back in the third or the fourth run, of course the player will have do a lot of stuff. That's so the relation between the characters can really go deep.
And of course, like, we're fully voice acting the game, so that's another part in the story and the world building. And that second, on that sequel and that second game, we really want to focus on the character relationships
Yeah.
and associating the world with characters. This is something like the first Mages of Mystralia was more of a classic tale, we would say, in the classic sense of the term. And right now we're more aiming at doing a proper epic with the story in this one, with a lot of like character development.
And we wanted to do very living, vibrant. So the devil's in the details, right? And in the roguelite, you can meet someone for 50 times. So the 50 times, you will see some details that will all make sense with the culture of the
people
that you cannot see in a RPG when you meet everybody just one time.
So we are in the last 5 minutes of the stream. So, Louis Felix, do you have some closing thoughts?
We have Wimponger and Warden Zia.
Yes, any word on Zia?
Why to a roguelike? Maybe I can start with a roguelike. So I thank you for your question, Wimponger. I hope I'm pronouncing well with my French accent. Of course, we're in Quebec, Canada right now, Montreal.
Yes.
So why roguelike? I talked about it a little bit earlier in the cast, but I really want to repeat it because that's important for me that people get it. The former game, Mages of Mystralia, was all about spell system, sure, but in an action-adventure kind of game loop, all players collected the same rune in the same order, and by the middle of the game, players had good enough spell to pursue the game except for the puzzle part. And in a roguelite, on the opposite, you always start fresh. So you never know which are going to be your first, your second, your third runes. And even if you already saw the rune you're just collecting while playing, maybe you never get those two runes together or in that order. So that's kind of game loop, the roguelike genre, that help us dive deeper into the spell system. And maybe the last thing I could add on top of that is that in Mages of Mystralia, if we wanted, after the release of the game, for example, to add other rune, it would have break the game. But in a roguelike like that, we can just going full and add some.
And also as a design challenge for the team right now, Mages was like, oh, what if we take an adventure genre and put a lot of creativity in the spellcrafting? Right now, as a design challenge, like you said, the reason why we went for a roguelike is about that kind of like repetition and making the spellcrafting the focus of the game and having it that you feel that you can always play and create new spells. So for us as a team, we also will always have that angle of like, how can we bring creativity? And for us, the Mystralia brand is all about creating creativity with magic. And we were very interested in exploring using a roguelike play pattern that gave us all those advantages that Louis Felix just said, of how can we bring a lot of creativity to a roguelike genre. And this on the playtest is really just a small subset of kind of like, it's a basis of what we see and creativity we can bring. And that's why we went in that. But as a design challenge for the team, because that as game designer, as indie game designer, we are passionate about what we do, and we're always looking at how can we challenge ourselves. And also as a way for player to better, in our mind, experiment what we want to play with, which is a spellcrafting system.
Sure, and I want to reassure players that's not because this is now a roguelike that you're going to lose the adventure part. Like we can see on the screen right now, we have this adventure map. Of course, it's going to change. But like I said earlier, you're gonna have quests, you're gonna discover mystery, new regions gonna appear, you're gonna encounter a mysterious NPC that with which you're gonna develop a relation. So we still succeeded to keep all those adventure element and kind of fun into the game, even if it's roguelike.
And on any word on Zia, well, we talked a bit earlier.
But what about Zia?
We wanted to have a different angle on the fantasy kind of vibe, so we created this faction, is the Watchers of Memories, and we felt that
which Maz, the main character, is part of.
Exactly, and we felt that with all that setting, we needed a new protagonist But of course, we wanted to make a wink, if I can say things like that, to the heritage of mages. So Zia will have a special place, but it's all because that the will to create a new faction in that fantasy environment that came the new protagonist.
Yeah, and the story is happening 100 years, like Gabriel say, after the end of Mages. So players will learn what happened with Zia, what she's done with her new power, because she defeated the Mad Mage King by the end of the game. For those who have played, pretty cool boss combat, I remember. And she's playing a big part in the political and environmental situation that are happening in Echoes of Mystralia. So we have a lot of elements like Sia that are gonna come back and
tying the cliffhangers that are at the end of the first game within the narration, but in the sense of like discovering what kind of happened. And exploring the memories of the world, which is the whole thematic of the game.
So players who have played Mages will understand what happened after, but I want to reassure newcomer, people that never played Mages of Mystralia. If you pick up Echoes of Mystralia, you will be able to follow, because Gabriel wrote it in a way that it explained everything that happened in the past. So for those players, is not harder than any other game that tell you what happened before the beginning of the game. So it's kind of more of a treat for the former player of Mages of Mystralia, but still really involving for newcomers.
I think with that, the hour.
Yeah, that's close everything. Thank you guys for being with me. Thank you, Gab, to add up by the end.
So we can say right now the playtest is still available at the current moment. So you can still play the playtest.
We're gonna push it back a little bit. We wanted to I don't want to announce any date right now because this is recorded, and if we change our mind of anything. But still, so people that are just watching this video for the first time and are just learning about Echoes of Mystralia, you can play it as a game. Yes, there's gonna be another demo as soon as we can. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and you can join our Discord community. And please wish list our game, and this is the trick of it.
And more will come soon. Release date right now is still for 2026, so there's lots more Mystralia that will come in the future.
Yeah, a lot more. Thank you for all the players who play this and your feedback and everything. That's heartwarming for the whole thing. Whole team, and they all want to thank you, by the way. So see you guys. Please ask your question, everything. We're there. Thank you for supporting us.
Thank you guys.
Bye.
Thank you guys.